Obviously, the FA has put in a lot of investment and effort in supporting the women's game. You can see that through our leagues. You can obviously see it through our international matches. I have to mention that because it's the talk of the town. Yeah. We have a good coach. Fixing the fundamentals is a big part of our success story.
That sounds very political.
Yes, because you see, and I respect the fact that the fans always see football successes through the national team, and rightfully so. I don't have a problem with that. But before you get there, there's more to football than just the national team. So fixing the fundamentals, and I'm speaking about women's football in particular, we've put in a lot of work. Even by way of governance, we have a seat on the ESCO now for women. Okay. We've invested in a lot of capacity building for our women, partnering with companies like Betway, UEFA Assist. So it's really not automatic. We're doing a lot of work behind the scenes. Financially, we support the clubs. For instance, we've slashed officiating fees, which is huge. Yeah. During COVID, we gave them money to support their clubs. And I think some of the clubs even use it to buy buses.
Yeah. Buses.
We've put women in strategic positions within the football sector. So a lot has gone into the success of the women's game that everybody sees at the end. Okay. So fixing the fundamentals is very key in football, not only football, but obviously in any other entity.
Okay. All right. And I think that progression has led into developing the women's football strategy. What actually inspired this project that is expected to happen in the next couple of years?
Okay, so the women's football strategy is actually a requirement of FIFA. Okay. So it's mandated that we have a women's football strategy, and it's for 4 years, so 2023 to 2026, and it's a clear pathway in the development of the women's game, focusing on certain key pillars, within the strategy.
Now I see that you brought your documents with you. So this is
take it everywhere.
This is the Women's Football Strategy document. Ghana Football Association Women's Football Strategy, 2023 to 2026. So when does it start? Does it start in this month?
Well, it's actually started. So we launched the strategy in July this year, July 4th, and we were in preparation. This month, we are starting our women's football campaign. Okay. And what that is raising the awareness for women's football, targeting everyone outside the football ecosystem. It's very easy. Women's football is loved by all our stakeholders.
Yes.
So we want inclusivity and we want diversity. Okay. So we are focusing on those that are not actually in the football sector. We are bringing them in.
Okay. Are there specific plans for the Black Princesses in this strategy?
Thank Anita.
Yes. Anita.
Yes, she spoke about fixing the fundamentals. So when you talk about the fundamentals, it's all about the grassroots. And we are looking at developing the youth, and the Black Princesses are part of the youth. So we have plans in place for the Black Princesses as well. And then even the lower divisions up to the U15. So it's all in the plan.
All right. And this being in the plan, is it a directive from FIFA, or is it just an initiative from the Football Association that wants to make women football better?
Well, they both. So as far as the content that we use for women to create the strategy, it's not directly from FIFA. We have to assess the current state and know what our weaknesses are, what we need. So we build it based on that. So for instance, with this strategy in particular, we have 6 key pillars. And the pillars are grassroots, the talent identification, the league development, we have education, sponsorship and marketing, and obviously the national team. Okay. So these are what we are focusing on the next 4 years. Okay. After, it could be something else.
Yeah. In your development plans for 2023, I see a subsection called football for girls, and that's
Okay.
girls visits nationwide. You're going to 50 schools.
Okay.
What exactly are you doing here?
Okay. So as part of the grassroots strategy, we collaborated with Ghana Education Services, and they gave us permission. They approved that we can enter the schools to introduce football to girls. So we are starting from the basics, from 5 years old or 6 years old, whatever primary school is, to 12-year-olds before they enter JHS.
Okay.
We have to fix it. And the reason why it's so important is because when you look at the men's structure, we have it, so just imagine it in your head. We have the code system.
Yeah.
We have Division 3, we have Division 2, Division 1, and the Premier. Now with the women, they start playing at Division 1 professionally. So you ask yourself, what's happening? What we need to
At the
close
basics.
that.
Yeah,
Yes, we need to
yeah.
close
Okay.
that gap. It's very important, and that's why everybody needs to be patient when we are fixing the fundamentals. Imagine starting to fix this from scratch.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
You know, and waiting for us to be winning all the national team. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a process that we need to be patient.
Okay.
We have to build it right.
I think it's very impressive because someone like Evelyn Bedu, she had that opportunity to play at senior high school during a competition. It was a men's competition, and they used a women's game or the ladies' games as a curtain raiser.
Okay.
And she was picked up. She met the best player of the tournament, organized by
Imagine that.
So that was when she decided to continue, because initially she had told us she didn't want to, but now she's become a mainstay of the
Right.
women's team.
So it's
But-
important
yeah,
to start
but-
from,
Yes, from scratch.
Exactly,
We have to
exactly.
fix that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about your PR as women's football in Ghana. The national team and men's football enjoy a lot of positive PR, among other things because of the sort of games they play and I guess funding that they get. But it doesn't seem to me, as someone outside of football, that the women's games and teams get as much PR. So yesterday on Twitter, I wrote that, why aren't we talking about women's football? And Pimdakwa ladies did so well tonight, and only sports journalists are talking. However, if it was a game with the men,
Yeah.
everybody will be
Everybody will
talking
be
about
talking.
it. What do you think is lacking in your PR machinery, and how are you fixing it?
I don't want to go back, but I'll tell you what's happening now. Under this administration, we've gained a lot of popularity in the women's game. We are fixing it. We are fixing that, which is part of the strategy.
strategy,
And the
okay.
women's football campaign is actually going to clear all that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I know Ghana has Ghana Football Philosophy, which was launched months ago. The main person who led the project, the technical director, has left. So some of us are in a limbo whether that project will be fully executed as it is for the main man behind it. Now, with this strategy, how much of importance are the technical people to you, especially Anita and her colleagues? We've seen most of the men get into coaching now, but with the women after football, they just feed off. How are you starting to get more women into coaching and the technical side? Maybe, I don't know. if
We've
Anita and her
already
colleagues-
started. We've already started some of the stuff. We've implemented some of the stuff in the strategy. So when it comes to coaching, we've increased our numbers in coaching for our license C women and our license D women. So that's part of our coach education.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Now, I know the Black Princesses have a game coming up.
Yes, against Eswatini.
How are you preparing? How are things on the game side, technical side, preparing, and also publicizing the game, advertising it, and letting people know that there's something happening?
Well, the hype has already started. Where you go to the team's social media handles, you see all
Okay.
that. We are very much prepared technically. The girls are ready. In fact, they are so ready that we could play even tomorrow. So we are just waiting for the date, which is on the 12th, and then we just get the whole thing done. I think we'll kill the game there even before the return leg here.
Okay, you are
absolute
killing the game.
confidence.
It's on the 12th.
I love the
Very good.
confidence.
What's your social media handle?
Ghana Women's Football. Ghana
Okay,
Women's-
so okay, I thought you meant specifically for Black Princesses.
No.
So Ghana Women's Football
Yeah.
has one
Yes.
handle.
Yes.
Yes.
It's the same with the men. So it's Ghana at Ghana WMNT, Women's National Teams, yeah, something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Amazing. We have to end this interview now, but there's
Okay.
so much I wish we could talk about. So perhaps we can have
A broader conversation.
yeah, a broader
on it.
conversation
At another time.
Another time on women's football, especially on this on this document.
strategy.
I think
Yeah.
there's
a lot
there's so
to-
much to talk about
Yes.
in this document. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
It's been great having you, and more grease to your elbows.
Thank
Power
you.
to you. We love what you're doing.
Thank you.
So don't
Thank you so
stop.
much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Kevin, for making
All a
this
pleasure,
possible.
yeah. And thanks to Ampem Dakwa for making us proud.
Yes.
Yesterday it was-
definitely.
it was
Yes,
highly
yes,
impressive.
yes.
Maybe we cannot talk too much about it, but the highlights are there. Maybe you can just catch a glimpse.
Can we see the
of it,
highlights?
yeah.
I don't know. Can we see the highlights?
Yeah.
Barbie, can we see the highlights? Oh, we can't. We can't. Oh, all right. But still to come, we're going to be talking about the floods and matters arising in Ada. We're also going to be talking to Daco Vibes here with all the vibes. You're watching TV3 New Day. Remember, you can dial *439# and win 1,000 Ghana cedis. We can't see the highlights, so let's see the highlights and go for that break.